Minnesota Vikings and the Las Vegas Raiders. This is 2.5 in favor of the Vikings over the Raiders. 40.5 is the total. These are two teams coming off of a bye, and this is also another team that we don't know who's going to be playing quarterback, because whenever we went to bye with the Vikings, when asked who was going to be playing quarterback coming out of the bye, we do know that Justin Jefferson is going to be back for the Vikings. So they said, hey, who's going to be throwing him the ball? And Kevin O'Connell said, I'm not willing to make that decision quite yet. So here we sit under a field goal with the Vikings here in the Dome down the road from us here. Mike, what do you think about this one?
I think there's going to be a lot of Minnesota fans in Las Vegas next week. Get out of the cold, go down to Vegas, and see your Vikings take on the Raiders. I think this is my other teaser leg. I think I'm going to take the Raiders up to 8.5. I don't see this Minnesota team being able to win by margin over very many football teams. The Raiders are kind of frisky when you're looking as a backdoor team. They've got multiple good wide receivers. Still got Adams out there. O'Connell has been good enough. We've seen the defense play well in spurts. We saw a big run from Josh Jacobs last time we saw him on the field. So I like the Raiders plus the 8.5 as a second teaser leg with Baltimore minus 1.5.
Yeah, your gut feeling, they're not going to move away from Dobbs, right? I mean, like, it feels like...
No, you can't. You can't.
I don't feel like they're going to move away from Dobbs. I understand why he said what he said, because he just wants to kind of like, hey, I'm not going to sit here and stand up on the podium right afterwards and say that he's going to play for sure. But it seems to me, if you're looking from who gives you the best chance to win, I mean, I just don't think it's going to be Hall or the other option, Sean Mannion, I think it is, or something. I just don't imagine that when it's all said and done, that's your best option for winning football games.
No, Dobbs is clearly your best option. That's why they traded for him, right? But I think that, they've been a little uninspired. He had a couple very good quarters, and he's had a couple absolutely atrocious quarters. And that's kind of what you get with Josh Dobbs. You're not going to get consistency, but you're going to get some plays every now and then. So I think you got to give Dobbs an opportunity to play with Jefferson, see if that's able to improve it. I think you're just kind of gaming it, right? If you're O'Connell, you don't want to announce the starter because you don't want to give the Raiders 2 weeks to prepare. You want them to think about it a little bit. Now, I would assume it's Dobbs. I would expect we're going to hear it's Dobbs midway through the week this week. And I'd be surprised if it's all. Like, we saw him play one game. He was not good at all. It wouldn't make any sense for a team that's still very much alive in the playoff race to go to Hall.
Yeah, that one's just, for me, it's interesting. I don't know. There's a lot of variance that gets involved when Justin Jefferson's on the field too. That's the scary part about it, because, I mean, we talk about Tyreek Hill. There are a few different guys in the NFL that at the wide receiver position that are worth multiple points and that are legitimately game changers and stuff. And like, Jefferson's that guy, right? Because he is not only your chain mover, Mike, he is also your explosive play guy. He is also your red zone guy. He's everything for this team. He is the complete package. I mean, even unlike Tyreek Hill, who, yes, Tyreek Hill can take any ball 70 yards, but, you get inside the 5, you can't really throw to Tyreek Hill unless it's kind of a gadget play. You have infinite options with Jefferson out there. So I do kind of have a little bit of a pause to wanting to back the Raiders strictly because the Jefferson factor is so huge.
Does the total seem a little low to you? 40.5?
It kind of does.
Right. As you talk through this, you got Jefferson out there. We've got two good wide receivers on both sides, because Addison should get a bump for this as well. Dobbs is going to make some plays. Even when he plays poorly, he's going to throw some picks. That helps you on the other side. O'Connell likes to YOLO it down the field. 40.5 seems a little low.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.